Welcome to Late, to Nick, to Matt, Pop Evil. Welcome back here in our studio. It's a pleasure for me to see you again also this year.
It's great to be back.
Pleasure to be back.
It's like a home away from home.
Thank you very much.
Home away from home right here. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last year, you was go out here in Milan for play live with Five Finger Death Punch and other bands.
Yeah.
Now, this evening, you play with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
And what do you remember about that day, about the audience? Because it was the first time that you came here to play live, right?
The crowd. It was one of our favorite crowds of the whole tour.
A very young crowd, but very, very energetic crowd.
Yeah.
So good.
Yes.
Okay. And you have spent a lot of time in tour.
Yeah.
You have played with many bands in many countries all over the world in the last years. I know that especially in these years of crisis for the music industries, it's important for a band play live, for sell the album, for the fans, and for found new fans, right? But there are also downsides. You are far from home, you are far from family, right? And stress trips, you change hotel every day or tour bus.
Right.
As you have experienced this situation,
It's
different for all.
I think with that we're all pretty comfortable with it now. Like you said, we've been doing it for so long that it's not really that much of a burden. You know, our families understand that when it's time to work, we go away, and then when we come back home, we try to enjoy that time with our families as much as possible.
Okay, so it's I know this is the work. Okay, right. And after a long year of tour, when you have started to write the songs for this new album?
We started. It was different this time around. We started first of the year was when we got into the studio, and we all decided this album we were going to write fresh right from the beginning of the process. No old stuff. You know, we didn't want to be tired playing it 2 years later, because usually every album cycle takes about 2 years. So we didn't want to get bored, and we wanted to be creative this time around to make sure everything was fresh and uplifting for us.
Compared to the preview two albums, Onyx and The War of Angels, where the producer was Johnny Kay.
Right.
Now, the new producer is another big name like Adam Kasper. Have you met him? Have you choose him? And they have a different way of working, Johnny and Adam.
Yeah.
Very different way of working.
Completely different.
You know, working with Adam was a really big treat for us. We'd never met him before. We'd never worked with him. We didn't know anybody that worked with him. But that's kind of why we chose him. You know, we wanted to seek out someone who had a good reputation, but that hadn't done anything that, you know, that was similar to us, I guess. And Adam put a lot of focus on us as a band and as an entity to work with ourselves and figure out problems and work through them amongst ourselves. Where like Johnny Kay, a lot of times would take it into his own hands, and he would, you know, do some of it for us, you know.
You have you use 3 different studios in Seattle town for recording the album. Is one for the voice, one for the drums, or?
Kind of.
Yeah, I think it was. It just kind of worked out that way. I don't think that was really the plan, but you know, each room had something very different and special about it. So you know, like the first place had a great drum sound, so we did a lot of the drums there. And then there was just the atmosphere that we did the vocals in. It was just incredible. So they captured a lot of.
That choose the studios.
Yeah, I think Adam pretty much picked all the.
I think it was a lot of it too had what studios were available, you know, like there's only so many good studios in Seattle, and he wanted us to have the best, you know, and like Nick said, when we got there, we took advantage of the strengths of each of these studios and ended up with the vocals in Studio Litho, and the vibe there was incredible. It was just, every studio seemed like it was working to the advantage of Pop Evil on this record. You know, every studio, what position, you know, what instrument we were doing that day in that studio was just, it was special, man. It all fell into place.
Yeah, and it was kind of cool too, is you didn't get stuck in kind of a comfort zone. You know, you go to one place and then you just kind of lose some of the creativity just because you're kind of comfortable in that one room. So every so often we went to a new place, and it was just sparking new stuff every time.
Okay. How many time you spend in these studios?
I think we were there about 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. After success of the preview album Onyx with the 3 songs at the top of the mainstream rock charts, you have not heard in you some pressure in writing and recording new album, and approach that you had entered in recording studio was different before from the other times.
Yeah, I mean, I think that There's always pressure. I mean, I think that's just understood. I don't know if we really felt when we started that we had to live up to anything off Onyx. I think it was just how we challenge ourselves anyways. You know, we wanted to do something different. What fans don't know about the previous albums is the band hasn't really had a chance to really write in the studio. It's always been a couple guys here, a couple guys there. And then, you know, because we didn't have the money to bring everyone at the same time. We were always back and forth. We had to do it in stages. With this record, everyone was out. Everyone was bringing their ideas in, and it kind of made it, I think, less stressful anyways, that the pressure thing was kind of forgotten because we were just so excited to finally be together
just have
and
fun.
writing, just have fun, you know, that I think the pressure thing kind of went away when we hit that first day and met Adam. You know, he kind of made everything smooth, and it just kind of transitioned so naturally.
The title of the album is Up.
Yeah.
Can you mean many things? Step
Right.
up for your music, step
Yeah.
up for your career, step
Yeah.
up for your life.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Means all that. Means all that.
I think we wanted it to be left open to interpretation like that way. I know for me personally, our last album, Onyx, was a very dark album. It was in a very, dark place, a lot of angst, a lot of anger. We were getting out on that. And to me, the new album, Up, is sort of what happens after you work through those feelings, after you get it all off of your chest, and, where do you go from there?
So it's different for every person.
I think so.
Interpretation.
Yeah, and I think adding to that too, like we wanted to remember why we got into music in the first place. You know, rock and roll kind of was fun, and it was a release for us. And we look at our past albums, there's a lot of anger and frustration, and where rock is, especially back in the U.S. Kind of it's freedom of speech. It always feels like someone's kind of forgotten about what we have to say, as a rock generation, and what about us, and that kind of, we try to put that behind us this time and remember about the facts that, we'll focus on the things that we have. Like, we're still in a band, we're able to play music for a career, it's pretty special, we're pretty blessed. So why don't we focus on the good rather than the bad this album, and see if we can enjoy ourselves more,
Talking about the cover of the album,
Mm-hmm.
correct me if I
Yeah.
get something wrong.
Yeah.
This is the first time that the band is on the cover,
Right.
but in behind,
Right.
not in front.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
strange, these
right,
things.
right.
Who decided this?
Yeah.
It's just kind of a more artistic approach, the silhouettes and stuff too. I think we want a lot of the focus on this album to be the music and not necessarily,
Yes, the band.
Yeah, I think it's cool as we're looking up too. We're still, even though we've accomplished some stuff in our career, we're certainly excited. We're certainly not complacent. There's still a lot more. You can see the cool, at least to me, the metaphor of the album cover. It looks to the future of just how far we still have to go and where we want to be, and what our expectations are. And I think it's symbolic to life, and what the fans are going through as they keep supporting, as their $1 matters or €1 matters for, iTunes or wherever, Spotify or wherever they're at finding their social media online or wherever they're buying their music. It's to be that we're all part of this music, rock and roll, metal animal, and we all matter.
I asked now about 3 different songs of the album.
Yeah.
Who is the ghost of Muskegon? Is it really story or fantasy in your town? I think you come from this town, right?
Yeah, Matt and I do. Yeah.
You're the first person to ask this, and we were kind of wondering like if people were going to be curious about this. Muskegon is actually the city that Lee and I grew up in, and you can tell
I
more
think
about it.
the irony of the song is that we all have a story. Every band has a story, and every day there's one thing that is the most brutal on any of us, is that's time. We don't get it back, and as we think about Matt's journey, your journey, Nick's journey, my journey, they're all maybe different, but they all mean something to the big picture. And Ghost of the Muskegon takes a more personal look at that from our perspective about the ether of how this music and how this life kind of all flow together, and it's very deep. So you'll have to listen to the lyrics and then get more in tune to it. But I think that it is not just about us individually as ghosts, but the Pop Evil journey about how why we're here.
About the Seattle rain.
Yes.
So Seattle is the
Yeah.
town that you have recording, and
Right.
probably
Right.
often rain.
It did. It certainly
I think
did.
This is
Yeah.
my interpretation is this.
Yeah.
It's a different song
Yeah.
from the other song. It's just a little bit country.
Yeah.
With the acoustic guitar. It's very nice song.
Yeah. I'll let kind of Matt discuss that.
that's sort of a guitar riff I came up with a long time ago and never would have dreamed that it would turn into what it did until we got in the studio. And I didn't have a good working title for it, a good name for it. And we sat down to work on it that day, and it was a typical Seattle day, drizzly and stuff. And producer says, we need a name. If we're going to work on this, we need a name. So I sat there for a minute, looked outside, and said, Seattle Rain.
Seattle Rain.
And it stuck.
Well, it's funny, too, because I remember Matt telling us that was the working title, and it just seemed like, even though the song's more, I think, thematic about the changing of the seasons, growing up in Michigan, how, when you live there, you have such heavy winters, such hot summers, growing up on the lakes, that it's interesting that if you don't stop and appreciate things, that, the time just keeps flowing by. And it just seems like that song could have never been written if we weren't in Seattle. That working title kept having more meaning as the album kind of grew. It was just like, how can we name it? We couldn't possibly think about naming it anything else. So it's funny how a song title can start as kind of a funny joke as to becoming something that we all get behind. It's a special, important title on the album that I know to me, and I'm sure to the guys as well, as it's something that we really, the five of us went through together in Seattle that changed our lives, man. Literally, I mean, out of all the albums we've ever done, I think no city has ever changed. And we love Chicago. I mean, Chicago is amazing where we recorded all our other albums, but Seattle just changed our lives, man. And how we are all taking a more healthy approach on life, and how we're trying to eat and stay healthy and be responsible on the road rather than just trying to taste the fruits and all live like we have millions in our bank accounts. Like it's about, just like footsteps, one step at a time, $1 at a time. It's like everything's earned, and Seattle Rain kind of, reminds us of, where we come from. And
talking about the song's Footsteps, it's the first single.
Right.
You choose for Open the album.
Right.
Okay. And what about the lyrics of this song? Because it's the first, in general, first song of the album. Well, it's important to choose.
It is, and we think what we did on Onyx with Trenches, we don't want to come out safe. I mean, there's nothing about being in a rock band that has the word safe in it, And I think from so many of our peers, they're like, why don't you just do, well, I wouldn't have come out with that. I would have come out with this or that. It's like, look, we want to shake it up. We want to make sure that our live show is all that matters to us. And what is the live show missing? I mean, if we already have songs like Deal with the Devil and Trenches and Torn to Pieces, why do we need more of those? You know what I mean? Like, we want stuff that can challenge our listeners, challenge ourselves. And the lyric, for me, it inspired me. I mean, I knew when I heard that song, it gave me the chills, just like when, I heard Trenches for the first time. And we knew that was, where the album was kind of, everything was kind of surrounding and coming to that song, even though there's plenty of great songs that we had on the record.
It would have been really easy to do an Onyx 2.0.
Yeah.
But we wanted to try some different things, take some chances, and really Footsteps really kind of makes that statement right off the bat.
I think, like you said, from a lyrical standpoint, it's very important to lead off on the right foot, and I think that was just a great direction for our fans, for ourselves, for anyone who listens to it, to say like it's a good, positive, inspiring message, like to push off on.
About this song Footsteps, so you ever that now there is a lyric video,
right?
But have you recorded also a real video for this song?
We did. We did. We shot it in Sweden on this the start of this whole European tour. Yeah. We've shot them all in Sweden actually lately. But
also another video you have recorded in the north of Europe. Of the last album, right?
Yeah, we did. We shot in Germany. We shot Torn to Pieces. Yes, in Berlin and in Canada. So it was like a worldwide video for that one, literally. So we're excited that the new videos that we've shot are amazing. I mean, what we've seen, and we're hoping probably closer to the album release that the videos will drop. Or at least Trenches or Footsteps will drop around then. So we can't wait to see it too. We haven't seen it, so we're excited.
Okay, so we can wait that the album go out.
Yes.
For listen all. Because there is also a special edition.
Yes.
And also vinyl or not?
There is. The vinyl. I mean, it's all, again, our VIP bundles are all on the popevil.com. I know they're working out kinks for the VIP bundles around the globe. There's certain legalities they got to figure out with that. But again, the vinyls are amazing. The CDs are great, and we feel very blessed that finally this time around, our labels back home have stepped up and they're doing the right thing to make sure that the release worldwide is all in sync for the first time in our career. So we're stoked about that.
Last question. Now you are on tour this evening here in Milan. you are playing some festivals some days before, and also in
Yeah.
the future or during the summer you will play
Nonstop.
many other festivals.
Nonstop, yeah.
Okay.
For the next 2 years, I'm sure, right?
2
Just
years.
nonstop, yeah.
So you stop it only for Christmas.
We do stop for Christmas. That's about the only time. Like Christmas Eve, we get off, and Christmas, the day after Christmas, right back at it.
You
Yeah,
go
yeah.
also in Asia, Japan, Australia.
We haven't yet, but it's starting. You know, it's starting this album cycle. We're hopeful. You know, I know that the talks for Australia and Japan, like you said, are underway, and it's hard. And I think that the smart thing now is fans. They get it. You know, they understand that it's hard for American bands to just go there. It's costly, and they respect the bands that make the effort. And you know, we're taking a lot of hits to come out here, but at the end of the day, Europe is important to us. You know, and everyone's been amazing to our band, and we want to pay our dues and prove it.
And you find many difference about the audience from America,
Yeah.
Europe, and Asia.
We do.
Yeah, even within Europe, like place to place, the audience responses are really different, and it's just kind of fun to see the cultures from country to country.
Yeah, I mean, I think American audiences take American bands for granted because we have to just regurgitate the cycle, you know. But here, European bands have a true love and passion for live music and live rock music, especially, and it's humbling. I mean, I think they're out clapping before the soundtrack's even lifted. There, everyone's ready to go, and everyone's coming out early, and it's inspiring to us to know that wow, we are fighting the fight. We're a piece of the puzzle, and it's important, man. Let's just move it all up, move it up, man, and keep fighting.
Thank you very much again.
Thank
See
you.
in the next 2 years.
Hopefully before that, but yeah.
Okay, thank you again.
You got
Bye.
it. Thank you.